enjoy. We're talking about an entertainment. So pressure, well, I think pressure is only what you bring upon yourself. No one can make you feel inferior without your own consent. And for me, it's a matter of just trying to do a good job, to bring everybody with you, to embrace the challenge and really to get on with it.
I know it's very early days, but have you thought about the playing squad here and your backroom staff?
Yes, I've thought about it. I have no firm decisions made there. I think I've got to get in and speak with lots of people now, and that's where the background work takes place. I have much to be getting on with before the season begins.
Who was sacked earlier this week. There's no contract, just a handshake between Glentoran and Walker, who returns to the game after a 7-year break.
Glentoran was my boyhood team. The house that I was growing up in it's not there anymore, but I'm told they're rebuilding it. So, yeah, this was the team. This was probably the only team that was attractive for me to come back.
How much rebuilding is required here in your estimation?
Well, you never fully understand that and appreciate it until you actually get in and start to work with the players. You know, they're in pre-season at the moment. There's players out of contract. Certainly there are some issues that need to be resolved on that level. But yeah, there would be, I think it's fair to say there'll be some rebuilding needing done, but there's a good core and nucleus of players here that provide a foundation to build upon.
Oval and out. That's been the recurring theme in an incredible few days for Glentoran. On Thursday, Roy Walker was confirmed as new boss at the Oval, and just 48 hours later, he was shown the door on a technicality. Belfast Telegraph reporter Stuart McKinley was the man who broke the story.
Well, basically, Glentoran faced a choice: either have Roy Walker as manager or play in Europe this summer. Roy doesn't have the necessary coaching badges for Glentoran to keep hold of their UEFA licence. They thought that with Alan McDonald in caretaker charge until the domestic season starts, that they would still be able to play in Europe and hold their licence. But UEFA don't work like that. They would revoke the licence as soon as Roy takes charge, and there would be repercussions after that, even though the European games may have already taken place. UEFA's rules are hard and fast, and they don't have loopholes in these governing bodies that are European-wide. It's not an amateurish organisation. These are full-time professionals who run football, and they run it right, and you just cannot work around their rules.
In this place today, Neil Britton reports on the managerial mess at the Oval.
This was last Thursday. This was this afternoon. Same club, same ground, two different managers. Roy Walker was unable to stay as boss of Glentoran because he didn't have the necessary UEFA coaching qualifications to lead the club into Europe. His loss was Alan McDonald's gain. The former Northern Ireland international takes over at the Oval, but the club's handling of the situation has been far from ideal. According to Walker, he is yet to be told that he's no longer manager of the Glens.
I can say that it was a misjudgment that was done, and it had grave consequences. I don't think anybody tried to pull the wool over the IFA's eyes by trying to do this. I don't think anybody tried to usurp Roy Walker out of a job. I don't think anybody tried to deceive anybody. It was a mitigated PR disaster, simply because somebody went ahead and decided even to announce that with a new manager before it was, before that should not have happened.
Into the breach comes McDonald. He may have taken over in a crisis, but he's trying to put that to one side.
All I'm responsible for, purely and simply, is the playing staff and the coaching staff. That is my job remit. Certainly I would say to the supporters to give me a bit of time, give the players a bit of time, because it won't be for the want to try, and I'm fully aware of what their concerns are. I want to give them a team that they're proud of, and I want to put players on that pitch that they can identify with, and most of all I want to put a winning team on that pitch.
And what about the future at the Oval? Well, the board will be hoping that appointing a new manager will mark the end of a dreadful few days. But with Roy Walker planning to tell his version of events later in the week, this looks like a story that will run and run.
Donna, thank you. Yes, well, this is the man who Glentoran assure us is the club's new boss. Alan McDonald played international football for his country. Now he's going to try and revive the Glens' fortunes from the touchline. His appointment comes after a turbulent few days in East Belfast. This is, if you like, the story of three managers. This is Paul Miller, who who was sacked by Glentoran 11 days ago. This is Roy Walker, a respected Irish League man who was quickly unveiled as his replacement last Thursday. Now, Glentoran thought they could get around the fact that Walker didn't have the UEFA coaching qualifications. They were wrong. So today, in stepped a former Northern Ireland captain to take charge. Everybody keeping up so far?
What's gone in the past, I didn't instigate. It was not of my doing. You know, all I do now is look forward now as Glentoran manager and looking forward to putting a team on the pitch that the fans are proud of, that I'm proud of and the board of directors are proud of.
But the one thing Glentoran officials aren't proud of is how they handled this search for a new manager.
Absolutely unmitigated disaster.
Are you embarrassed by it?
Totally embarrassed and totally disappointed that a football club with a fan base like ours can't come up with a better way of appointing a manager and a better way of announcing it.
If there are some Glentoran fans who feel the only reason you got this job was because you have the UEFA A badges and Roy Walker doesn't, what's your response to that?
No, that's during my negotiations with the club. I was asked that if I wasn't comfortable with taking the manager's job, there was no problem. I could still stay on as first team coach, and they would advertise the job. And then I thought about it. They offered me the job, and I thought over 24 hours over it, and decided to take the job. And I'm looking forward to it, you know, and I'll do it on my terms and do it my way, and there'll be no one else in the background, you know. It's purely and simply my decision.